Welcome to another VMware Cloud Office Hours. With you, as always, is Matt Vandenbeld, the vCloud Matt. We're a little light in attendance so far, and we don't have much on the go. So thought I'd kind of tour through some things, maybe go over some stuff for those that haven't been around or seeing what's going on. So one of the things I'd kind of like to show everybody here is we do have a YouTube page. And the reason I bring this up is I'm really honestly not trying to drum up business, as it were. I'll just move this one in because the URL is a little bit easier to see. It's just youtube.com/channel VMware Cloud Customer Success. So this is our VMware Cloud YouTube that I maintain. So this is where we put up a lot of our stuff, actually all of our stuff that we do here, both on Twitch and through Zoom, which reminds me I should start that recording. So it's a really kind of valuable resource because I actually do find myself quite often kind of quoting this to customers, and again, it's not to try to grow the page or show notoriety or anything in that regard. It is, for the most part, so that everybody can see. There's a lot of information there, so I'll get a question on, well, what should I think about when configuring a VPN, or what should I think about when configuring the network, or setting up my SDDC or my host, or how can I troubleshoot some stuff. So a lot of what we have is there. So and if you watch one of these live, or you kind of uh, or and you saw something and you kind of want to go back and review it, we do have a lot of videos up here. Like I said, all of these go up. I do have it split into playlists as well. So we have kind of a basics of. I don't want to play this because you'll hear me twice, but we do have some of the basics of the architecture. So this is something that we had done in times past. And so there's kind of a good overview there. There's a playlist on the configuration, which is something that we're really trying to expand on, and really do want to expand on in the future. We're trying to add content here. I added one just recently, just a little 2-minute video. I'll mute it here while it's kind of playing. That goes through just how do you go about adding a host onto into your SDDC. We have a video here as well about how do you do a deploy an SDDC. Right, so we're going to be adding more of these, like I said, with some firewall rules and stuff. And I apologize, I've been a little bit busy as of late on some of that. And we also have all of our webinars here that we've done. And looks like, so you can see here, this is the latest one we did just on Tuesday. For those of you in the APJ region as well, one of my compatriots, Mohit, came in and we talked about troubleshooting. This one's been getting a lot of traction. This is the HCX service mesh video that Dustin and I did 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, so there's quite a few of us on, and we went over the configuration of HCX and the new service mesh. So I just really kind of wanted to direct some some visibility out this way, that there is a lot of content there. There is a lot of videos, a lot of discussion. So it's a worthwhile resource if you have some questions to kind of go and hit. Like I said, we've talked about a lot of stuff, VPNs, HCX, SR, site recovery as a service, network architecture overviews, all of these kinds of things. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. Another resource that I kind of wanted to point out as well, and actually I just kind of became aware of this the other day. So this is a feature walkthrough, and this is actually owned and maintained by our CSE team. So again, Mohit from our CSE team was on Tuesday, and he was going over some troubleshooting steps. But we also have some some actual just kind of walkthroughs, because this is the other question we get is, I just want to kick the tires. Is there anywhere I could try this without kicking out an actual SDDC I have to pay for? How would I go through some of these things? I don't actually want to, create a stretch cluster per se. So kind of how would I do that? And these feature walkthroughs just kind of do a nice job of going over some of the very basic stuff of, how do I do this, right? So in stretch cluster, obviously check the stretch cluster button. But so some people don't really, have familiarity with this, don't know where to go to kind of do this, or don't, want to go through this procedure in their own SDDC. And this just kind of nicely highlights we got to check two availability zones, obviously, when we're doing a stretch cluster, right? And then you go ahead and deploy your SDDC, and there you go, right? So there are quite a few in here. I know that they are adding more and more as we go along, and this is something that I might also hit up our group to assist on to a degree as well. But you could even export a PDF all of the steps, so that if you just kind of want a document of some variety that goes over and kind of walks you through some of the procedures and pictures, great thing to have done. So I just want to point that out, because there is quite a lot of stuff that's actually out there on for resources, and unfortunately we don't necessarily put them all in one spot, of course, and it's something that we're continuously evolving, and we'd love people to kind of give us some feedback, and it's definitely one of the things that, like I said, we're continuing building. We're continuing to try to source out and to put in one place. Another great one that'll bring in here was written by Dustin Spinnern on our team. He was the one that did the HCX discussion, and to me, this is the best VMware Cloud on AWS hands-on guide we have. So you can see there's quite a few things in here. He maintains it on GitHub, and this is kind of one of those things that VMware as a group has been moving towards more DevOps or CI/CD, or however you want to talk about it, kind of thing. And as part of how fast the thing moves, we're having troubles, and we admit, keeping our documentation up to date. So one of the reasons that Dustin put this on GitHub is because he's able to go in here and very quickly and easily update this documentation when something changes. So for HCX, if there's the multi-site mesh, right? So this is something that is technically, I don't think GA even yet. It's coming here very, very shortly, but available in early access and to select customers. But we have the guide up here because we can kind of control this, and he can kind of really quickly get in here and update this. So this is a great spot to go to, especially for a lot of the network stuff. So this is because Dustin came over from Nicira. He's been on our team since the start of this team. He predated me by a few months. And he's very, 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 very smart in the networking side of things. So this one is a little bit, network centric, but there is, I would say, a large more amount of complexity and forethought that is required on the networking side of the house. Not to say that the storage or compute is not important, but a lot of the storage and compute things can be changed relatively on the fly and fairly easily. Some caveats being R5 storage selection for the amount of terabytes you want of EBS storage per host. Thick or thin VMs is difficult to kind of change without having another cluster to storage vMotion things about. But we can make some mitigations around that. If you get kind of the management side wrong in the gate, and I think he has quite a lot of talk around that in here. You have to blow up the SDDC to fix some of that stuff, right? Or if you don't have a very, good built network topology, you're going to have latency issues. You may have bandwidth issues. You may have a lot of issues that are very hard and are very impactful. So this is an absolutely fantastic resource to go to. Like I said, dspinner and .github.io VMC book. I apologize. I've been talking a lot today. It's late my day. It's early your guys' time. But yeah, so I just kind of want to really point out and highlight, these are the resources that our customer success team has developed. It's out there, involved for everybody. You can always ask me questions. You can always ask any of our team questions. Again, cloudcs@vmware.com. Hit me up on Twitter at vcloudmatt. Anytime you guys have any kind of questions or any kind of feedback or any kind of ideas you want to see on the stream, or any questions particular to this documentation, or you want us to kind of send out the links, let us know. Because like I said, there is a lot of information out here that this is kind of our FAQ, as it were, because we get a lot of these questions a lot, right? So service mesh is coming up big. Troubleshooting is always, a good one. And we've made a lot of strides in the products. We even take feedback from you guys around stuff. A good example of this, we covered this in the America's office hours a couple weeks ago. Michael Kolos came in and did a fantastic talk around a lot of our VPN stuff. And unfortunately, some of our stuff's down because we're actually using a direct connect. But so a lot of stuff that people had been bringing up to us around, I'm having this issue with the networking, and I'm having some weird traffic flows and stuff like that. So this is where we went back to our teams, and they went and like I said, unfortunately, maybe I can find one that I'll actually have something here. I believe the SDDZ does that we can get then put into the product. Right, so here we have a VPN up. I think Z has also done a session on going over some of this as well. But you can go in here and view the routes, right? So you can actually say, all of a sudden I'm getting this weird thing of traffic, routing, and it's because somebody came in here and, created this network and is being advertised over. We also have the learn routes, so what we know about on our side. So this is customer feedback back to us, and some of the frustrations and some of the complexities they were having that we were able to kind of take back and with multiple sources and with assistance for the BU actually get in there and and put it into the product. So for people out there that might feel like, if I get feedback they're just going to ignore me or whatever have you, could not be farther from the truth. We've put a significant amount of customer asks into the product, and we will continue to do that, and we really, really want to continue to do that. We'd rather have you guys tell us this. I'm having issues. This is why we put in this, connectivity use case for hybrid link mode site recovery. These were two of the biggest things that customers were having issues setting up. So we kind of put this in so that we could kind of really quickly check through and say, okay, it's the FQDN that's failing, because DNS is quite often one of the issues that comes up, and you can hear that in our troubleshooting webinar if you want to watch that, right? So the two biggest things that we have are usually the firewall, and a lot of times, and this is not Matt deflecting blame, but a lot of times it's the firewall on the on-prem side, because the vSphere administrators or the administrators of VMware Cloud have a lot more control to kind of come in here and add and edit rules to make sure that we have it here. But quite often they either just have to submit a ticket or it's an email or something to another team that handles it on-prem, and they may have said they did it, and maybe they didn't quite configure it right, or maybe they never got around to it, or maybe forgot to put the ticket in. This kind of thing really, really helps, identify that. It's like, okay, we're getting all this traffic in our way, but we can't get it back the other way. Take a look at this, right? So this is all stuff that came up because of, customers having some frustration and wanting some tools themselves to be able to kind of troubleshoot and get to the resolution quickly and effectively, right? We have plans to add more in here. We do have plans, and you've heard me talk about it before, is to put a firewall kind of accelerator in here that says, hey, if you want to do site recovery, here's what you need. We have a lot of good documentation on that. Don't want to breeze over that. Always read the documentation. I know even I'm guilty of that sometimes. But definitely it is something that we do take all this information and we do feed it into our product BUs, and we've seen quite a few of them come in to here, right? So, simple one, like we asked them to put this information in here, so if you have to call support and they ask you for your org ID, okay, your SDDC ID, yeah, there it is, right? So just little things like that is stuff that we've put into the product because people have asked us, and we continue to do that, and we continue to want to do that. So we want to, again, you've heard me say it before, I'll forever say it, we want as much interaction from our customers and potential customers as possible. So like I said, I really just kind of wanted to highlight some quick resources out there. If you found us on Twitch, that's another one definitely to check out. Like I said, I run this twice a week, so I run the APJ time, which is now, and I appreciate everybody that's out there watching and listening and are watching this afterwards. I also run the Americas one on Tuesday, and Will Rodbard has pretty much taken over the lead for the EMEA one because that's 2 o'clock in the morning for me. And I used to be a night bird, not so much anymore. I'm up usually too early to stay up that late. But so he's taking it on with Rick, and I think Persona over there has helped us as well. So we do run these, like I said, 3 times a week. So there's plenty of times for you guys to come and interact with us. Any kind of questions. Absolutely, you can put it into chat. You can email us and say, hey, could you go over this? Or if you even really wanted to, you could even, join our Zoom and even share your own screen and say, hey, I'm seeing this. Do you have any idea what this could be, or how would I configure that? Absolutely, this is what we're here for. We run the official webinars every 2 weeks. So like I said, on Tuesday we ran, and we alternate those times. So it alternates the APJ time. Then 2 weeks later, it'll be in Americas, and then 2 weeks later, APJ time again. So we just ran the APJ webinar, troubleshooting scenario webinar, fantastic. We have one coming up 2 weeks from now, so 2 Tuesdays away. This was going to be the Americas time zone. But as always, can't say this enough, we do put this back up onto YouTube afterwards. We're going to be going over CAS. So our cloud automation services, which is our cloud in the cloud, I guess. Or VRA in the cloud, I guess I should probably say. It's actually been split into a few different products, but CAS is the primary one, and I've managed to wrangle in Team Candy, for anybody familiar with our VMware personnel. Maddie Botsko-Wilskin and Kim Delgado make up Team Candy together with a K. They even have T-shirts and everything. I'm not even kidding. I wish I had a picture to put up on screen now. Actually, I will make sure I do that when they come online in a couple weeks. So we have that coming up. We're looking at doing some stuff around CloudFront. We're going to have our VCPP team, which is our vCloud Provider Program team. So this is all of our partners that run clouds. Quite a few of them are getting onto the VMware Cloud on AWS Cloud. A lot of them still run vCloud Director, which is a product I love, and his love is still around. Some of them run vRealize Automation, all those kinds of things. I don't have any deployments in here. This is kind of why it's going strange. But so we're going to have those guys on at some time to talk about that VCPP program. So again, you don't have to buy things directly from us. You can go to partners. We have some really good ones, Faction, DXE, Deloitte, Round Tower, a whole bunch of them that work with our products and can work with you guys to develop your stuff. Maybe they're more local. Maybe they had a slightly different offering. Maybe you need the managed service offering on top of it. Maybe you just want to hand off all of your VMware stuff now and run it in the public cloud on VMware Cloud and AWS and let managed service provider manage your operating systems for you too. Who knows, right? So all of these things are available to you. Hopefully, like I said, we'll have the VCPP guys on to discuss that. We're going to probably do an HCX troubleshooting section. We didn't cover that in our troubleshooting section just because there's a lot that goes into the HCX troubleshooting as well that really merits its own webinar. So that's another one that we're working on. And we're also going to be probably doing something on Horizon on VMC on AWS, which I guess is a lot of ons on there. But so running your desktops in the cloud, that can make sense for a lot of customers for a lot of reasons, right? You want to put your desktops closer to your users, and you got a worldwide company, or you just outsource something somewhere. Now you can deploy somewhere closer to them so that their experience is a little bit better, still controlled by you. Rapidly scaling cloud, so you can save some money because while the majority of your users are offline, those desktops can be shut down. Your number of hosts can scale down. They come back up on the morning, you scale back up. So you're not just buying for that burst, you're paying for the burst while the burst is there and then scaling back down afterwards to a lower size and a lower footprint. So these are all stuff that's on, like I said, on the docket. I'm going to try to get more onto the schedule. I do put the schedule, and maybe I'll put that up here so you guys can see that as well, which reminds me I haven't actually put the new webinar we're going to be doing next week up. But if you see here, and this is actually kind of through our page, but this is the this is where if you go to, and actually just take this out, I'll just go directly to it. And of course, I have 2 slashes in there. If you go to here, to our events page, so you go to twitch.tv, VMware Cloud /events. I also put this up on my blog, vcloudmat.com. This is where you can kind of see what's coming up, right? So here we are today. You know, this is what's running now. So you'll see the next one is an Office Hours America, and then when I have a chance, and you can see the past events, so you can see that we do populate everything in here, and you can see that the webinars do come in as a separate event, right? So I split them into kind of 2 event types. There's the office hours and then the webinars. So you can always come in here, take a look at what's coming up. Like I said, I'll update this right afterwards because I just realized I've been reticent to do it. You can hit the remind me for Twitch. You can share it. There are other ways that you can get some notifications or reminders that's coming up. We also do have a Zoom invite that is actually also contained in here. If you want that, that's a recurring meeting. So you can always, if you sign up to that, you will get the recurring meeting like we have, and can join via Zoom as well if you can't get to Twitch or don't want to watch via Twitch, or you want to kind of get into the voice chat and have some conversations with me. That's absolutely you're welcome to do that as well. So that's kind of Matt's blurb for 23 minutes of kind of all of the stuff that's out here and available to everybody. And I, highly recommend, you go through some of these walkthroughs. Absolutely read through Dustin's document here. If you haven't had a chance, if you're brand new to the service and you kind of really want to, just get a fundamental understanding of it, read through this. Absolute best place to start. And like I said, and then, if you have some time, or, you have trouble sleeping, or, you kind of want to learn a little bit more in depth into how we actually set something up, or hear some discussion on some of the features that we have, or, just kind of, wanted more information on a partner. We've had Faction come on and do stuff with us. We have all these videos here. Like I said, we're going to continue adding content, and we'll continue to take your suggestions. And again, more than welcome, multiple avenues to hit me up and to give me something to kind of go with, and we can absolutely go from there. So that's about all I kind of really wanted to cover today. I just kind of, like I said, wanted to go through a brief overview of all of the stuff that's available to you. So, as opposed to kind of having to reach out to support or wait for me to answer an email or something like that. I'm usually pretty good about it, but you know, sometimes, especially if you're in the APJ, I might be sleeping. You can absolutely get in, check through some of this content, check to see if there's a video on it, check to see if one of these walkthroughs may show you how to configure something. Definitely take a read through Dustin's guide, around perhaps, configuring some direct connect or any of those kinds of things. It's all here to help you. If you find an error in here or you find something you want covered, let us know. So I'm going to kind of pause just to see if there are any questions that kind of come in, and grab a sip of water while I'm doing that. So again, yeah, if you're watching or if this is recorded on YouTube, feel free to put a comment in there with a question, or email it to us. But I'll just take a quick pause here and see if we have anything that comes in. Well, all right. I haven't seen anything come in yet, so I think we usually schedule these for an hour, but if we don't have anybody kind of out there, or we don't have anybody that's kind of asking any questions, and like I said, I kind of flew through most of the stuff I wanted to cover today. I think I'll probably call the stream perhaps a little bit early today. Like I said, I just want to make sure that I give everybody the opportunity every week to come and ask some questions and stuff. And if you just want to lurk and spectate, that's absolutely acceptable as well. So next week, again, is just going to be a regular week of office hours. We're probably going to go over... I really wanted to kind of show off some more of the wavefront stuff, and maybe that's something I could pop up here quick while I'm talking as well. Let me just find it for you guys here. I have, as per usual, 9 million windows open. You're not an IT guy if that's not the case, right? It makes us feel busier than we are sometimes, perhaps. And I had this screen up at the start of our Americas talk, and then we didn't really kind of go much into it. I kind of gave it a brief blurb, but our Wavefront team has given us access to this, and I really want to start to delve more into this, because this is an extremely real-time, extremely robust cross-cloud SaaS-offered monitoring product, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's an acquisition that we made I think back around the VMworld Europe timeframe, if I remember correctly. We announced it, so that was back in, I want to say November. Yeah, I want to say November. I was actually there too. I should probably remember this. But it's right now you can kind of see I have this plugged into our VMware Cloud on AWS environment. So this is one of our SDDCs I have in here. I just kind of haven't gone through and added the collector to the rest of the ones we have up there, because a lot of the other ones we have are pretty fluid. We kill them and recreate them quite a bit. This one, which is our is actually in here. You can actually see the one I'm monitoring. That's the wrong button. It's actually our M6GA. So this one we usually do with the ones that the customer is on. We kind of at least try to have one SDDC out so we can do our own troubleshooting, or go through some configuration if customers have some questions and stuff like that, just for our own edification. And so this is the one that we currently have up and being monitored through hosts, and you can kind of go look at what it's been doing, and this one's been doing kind of not a lot of everything, because we don't have a lot of virtual workloads in it. A lot of the work we do is actually on the environment itself, as opposed to virtual machines within the environment. So, but this plugs directly into there. You can see here the integrations pane. I mean, look at all this stuff, right? So you have the featured, which I'm trying to get VMware Cloud on AWS featured, because it's actually all the way down here somewhere. I probably went by it. But you can take a look at all of the integrations that this has. Here it is: VMware Cloud on AWS, VMware PKS, so Public Cloud Foundry, our Kubernetes offering, our Cloud PKS. You can see there's Azure in here, there's Kubernetes, there's GCP, native AWS stuff, there's all these native AWS services, and all of this has a built-in integration right out of Wavefront for that stuff, that you can have these incredible dashboards that can show you, really application-specific metrics, right? So a lot of what we do at VMware currently is in the infrastructure layer, and we're really, pushing ourselves up that stack into that application space with, our Kubernetes offering, our Heptio acquisition that's really kind of moved us into that Kubernetes world, the Wavefront acquisition that enables us to do that, and then we're building up all of our other cross-cloud services to kind of, work around that as well to get into that application-aware space. So I just kind of wanted to show that, and we're going to do a little bit more on this if there's definitely this interest. I know at all the VM worlds and all the booths I kind of go to, I usually end up with quite a few questions around Wavefront and what it does and how it can help people, and really reposition it. Another way I kind of position it is are you in multiple clouds right now? Do you have, because a lot of our customers are using VMware Cloud on AWS, or also using AWS services, whether it be EC2 or S3 or RDS or any of those kinds of things. Well, now you can kind of look at your applications across all of those in one place. And I hate that term single pane of glass and stuff, but we're getting closer to that, and this is kind of where this product is really meant to do, is to kind of be this central place where if you have an application that, say it runs the application virtual machines in VMware Cloud on AWS, but you're using RDS out of the Amazon services, and that's an absolutely fantastic use case because we have that cross ENI low latency link. You can look in here and monitor and see how both are doing. So if somebody calls in and says, hey, this app's running a little bit slow, as opposed to kind of open it up, the VMware interface and the AWS interface, you can go into here and see what's happening. So I just kind of wanted to give a brief blurb on that, just because we've just gotten access to it and I've just kind of started kicking it around, and the team behind it is very, very keen on getting information out there to customers and having us do some demos and stuff like that. So I'll probably put this onto the docket as well if there's interest for it amongst all the other stuff I'm going to be doing. But like I said, with that, in lieu of there's no questions, and a man can kind of only talk to himself for so long, but I more think I'm talking to the audience that's out there, and I know you guys are out there. It's just it's one of those things that's it's fun. Put it that way. It's fun. Actually, I really enjoy doing this, so that's another reason I always make sure that I do it every week, regardless of the interactivity. And I'm not picking on anybody out there. If you guys have questions, you guys have questions. I do enjoy talking with any customers and answering any questions that they have, because I think that this product and where VMware is going in this space is really fantastic, and I think that we're continually improving and continually making better offerings. But with that, I think I'm going to call it quits today. Like I said, we'll be back next week for the Americas call. Will be the next one, the Americas office hours on 8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. Then 10 a.m. GMT on Wednesday for the EMEA folk, and then back here for, I believe this is 10 a.m. Sydney time for APJ. But I would like to thank everybody for coming out and attending. I'd like to thank anybody that's watching this via YouTube, and definitely, like I said, hit us up with ideas, suggestions, questions, and absolutely take a look through all of the resources that we've made out there and made available to you. Because I think it's a benefit to a lot of everybody, and we do this for you, for the customer, so we want to see you guys knowing it's out there. All right. Thank you very much, and everybody have a very good day/night.